Mike, 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 Mike. There's some lessons that need to be learned here. We gonna learn every single one of them tonight. Okay? I must be honest and frank with you all. This is only gonna go one way. You pick a side. You get what I'm saying? We got some indiscretions that needs to be had. We need some conversating that needs to be conversated. None of those are words, but they're gonna be words in this stratosphere called Live on Broadway podcast. Per usual, let me introduce this podcast the right way. Welcome back to another episode of Live on Broadway podcast, where the situations matter more than the relationships. Perspectives will be respected by everybody. And if this is your first time tapping in, don't be easily threatened or angered, because much like you, every giant here first started off as a perfect stranger. We ask that everybody tap in and get in tune with what we ask that everybody tap in and get in tune with everything that we doing on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else podcasts are available. You get what I'm saying? The views and opinions of those that's not of Live on Broadway podcast. We're just here to have a good time, party, and chill. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't take us too serious. We here to have a good time. We're potting. You get what I'm saying? Everybody tap in. If you want to be brought up, okay, hold on one second now. If you guys want to be brought up, just simply hit that button and I'll bring you guys up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second right quick. Hit the link, because people don't know. Hit the link and I'll bring you up. Okay, there we go. Because people will do what people do. With that set aside, Live on Broadway podcast, everybody make sure you guys are hitting the... All right, give me 1 second, guys, because they keep doing the thing that they shouldn't be doing. All right. Cool. Make sure you guys are hitting that link. Hit that link that's on top of the room. Hit that link on Clubhouse. That link is it right there? Is it right there? All right. Nope, right here. That link right there, right here. And which way is it going? This way, this way? I can't remember. All right, this way. Hit that link and make sure you guys are liking the video. Shout out to Terica. What up, though, Terica? Shout out to Miss V. You guys that's watching us on YouTube, if you guys want to join the conversation, hit my Instagram. _Broadway on Instagram. I'll bring you guys up. I'll bring you guys up, and you guys can participate in the conversation. Instagram. Hit the button. I'll bring you guys up respectfully. Thank you guys in advance. Shout out to the Giants. What up, though, Sean? What's happening with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, blessed and highly favored, beloved. Everybody that want to join the conversation on Instagram, _Broadway. I will bring you guys up, and you guys will be a part of the conversation. Now, while you guys hit that button and I bring you up, greetings and salutations. My name is Broadway the Giant. I'm an accountability coach. I make people stand in front of the hard work. A lot of times what happens in this space of women and men and just ourselves in our day-to-days, a lot of times it's hard for us to actually see ourselves the way that we are presenting ourselves, right? It's two different things, and it could be perceived as two different things. So I want you guys to actually do me a favor, and Veronica, you got to stop calling. Stop calling, Miss V. Stop calling. Just hit the link. I'm live. I can't join the conversation. I'm live. So what I need you guys to do is hit the link, go to my Instagram, _Broadway, and join the conversation. Go to my Instagram live. Okay, I understand some of you guys are new to the platform. Go to my live, my Instagram live. That means go to _Broadway. And once you get to _Broadway, you're going to see that I'm live, right? Hit that link, and I'm going to bring you right up. Matter of fact, let me do it like this, because I see where the miscommunication might fall at. Okay, cool. There you go. I sent you a request. So she'll be joining briefly. So listen, guys, there's some things that need to be discussed, and with that being said, I wanna have an honest conversation with you guys, because on this podcast I often say that there's going to be some things that needs to be learned. And today is one of those moments where you will be learned. Welcome, Miss V. Welcome, Miss V. Now you can join. Thank you. Just hit the button and I'll bring you up, Miss V. There you go. Cause she was calling my line. I'm like, Miss V, what's happening? You keep calling. Miss V, what's happening with you? How you doing, Queen?
What up, though, V? There's going to be some things that need to be learned. And today is one of those moments where you will be learned.
All right, so just turn that down, Miss V. Turn that sound down, and we're gonna have this conversation. Cool. With that being said, let me start it like this. I've come on this platform several times in several different ways in several different moments, right? And in an effort to come on this pod, I've said some things, right? Let me put Instagram up there. I'm coming to you, Clubhouse, in a moment. I will be getting all you guys' commentary in a moment. I've come on this platform, my platform, Live on Broadway podcast, and said some things, and I think it was around episode 510, right? Episode 510, I've said some things. And to be honest with you, the things that I said was we had a podcast and we spoke about things that sounds pretty much like if you're a single parent, you failed your kids. My energy is always on both sides. I don't take a side. Some of the conversation is geared towards women. Some of the conversation is geared towards men. Inside of that, I've learned that through listening to my own content, sometimes it may be perceived as one thing. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure is I stand on the side of, no pun intended, hopefully she's able to join us tonight, Miss Balance. You get what I'm saying? Shout out to the YouTube viewership. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Hit that like button if you're on Clubhouse. Hit that like button. Tonight, there's some rhetoric that's going on in the space of Clubhouse, these Clubhouse streets, these YouTube streets. And tonight I want to have an honest conversation. I want to have an honest conversation because, well, the truth matters. And the truth looks like different things depending on who's telling it in the agenda that's subconscious, that may be subconsciously planted below the surface. There are men and women, and let me be more specific. I want to speak to Mr. Mallory, Mr. Aaron Mallory, Mr. Let Go. Mr. Aaron Mallory, Mr. Let Go. Now, all intents purposes, I asked him and welcomed him to the platform, but, you know, he respectfully declined for whatever reasons. There's some things that need to be learned because I believe that in an effort to have a full conversation, it can't be one-sided. It can't be one-sided. So I'm going to begin the pod with asking a simple question. A simple question. And that question follows the guidelines of when in a relationship, whose fault is it when it goes wrong? I got some new guests up here with me, so I yield my mic to Instagram. Sean, I got Miss V. When in a relationship, things go wrong, right? Shit happens. Whose fault is it?
I mean, it could be either person's fault. It could be both their faults. You can't go in general and answer that question. You got to be specific about it. And unless you're specifically talking about a relationship, it's going to be hard to determine.
Miss V?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, beautiful.
Okay. I think whatever the situation is, both parties have to bear their own accountability.
Yeah.
In a relationship.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Clubhouse, tap in with me one time, please.
Now, I agree with that, Ms. V. But let's just say it is one person over the other, and one person is to blame. How do we relay that to that person without them being offended? How do we relay that to the other person if we're not being offended?
I think a space should be created to where both parties can agree to disagree, and it ain't about who's right and who's wrong. It's the point of we both coming together to an understanding.
I chuckled at that because there is no agree to disagree. It's either you're right or you're wrong, and that's the gray area that we live in. Is that agree to disagree space, and that agree to disagree space doesn't give any resolutions. It just gives a room to be able to band-aid the issue instead of resolve the issue.
Okay, so just hold that thought real quick. I got Allison, I got Ashley, Laundry, I got Storm. Tap in with us. Relationship things go wrong. Who's right? Who's wrong? I'm very interested to get it from all parties included. Tap in with us.
A relationship includes two parties, one or more, two or more individuals equal a relationship. Can't be in it by yourself. So when stuff start, going wrong, individuals have to, take accountability of whatever, they added to the situation. So both.
All right, Allison, I saw you fly off your mic real quick, Queen.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that it's both. I believe that there's and I guess you can say protagonist, antagonist. So with every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if somebody does something, then you're probably going to get pushback. Obviously there's a dispute for a reason. So there's a reaction to something that's done. However, the reaction sometimes is worse than what's done. So we have to be careful with that. And accountability falls on both ends.
Okay. Now, Storm, Lundria, how you guys feel?
I agree. I feel that both parties are responsible for their portion. So if it does go south and I guess the communication is not clear, then they've both done a bad job of communicating their point. So it would be both.
Okay, Lundria, I yield to you before I speak.
I don't have much to say after what everyone has said prior, but I liked Allison's antagonist and protagonist. I like that because I feel like sometimes, someone could, do something to the other and vice versa. And it could also be, there's a yes man or a yes woman in the relationship who's just allowing things to happen, and then there's a buildup. So I think that, communication is key, but, when things go awry in a relationship, it normally falls on both parties. There can be a situation where, one person has done one thing and as a result of another thing. So.
All right, so cool, right? And here we are. Black women aren't the scapegoat for a black man's bad behavior. Let's put some beat on that. Black women aren't the scapegoat for a black man's bad behavior.
Broadway, I
What's
agree
up?
with that wholeheartedly. But black women are not the scapegoat for bad behavior of black women either.
Define what you mean. Define that.
And what I mean is that every last woman that just answered, and I would assume that they might be of color because that's my assumption, just said both parties. When in fact, my question was, when I first answered it, was specifically that it depends on the situation. There could be the black man who is at fault. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. He should be held accountable for that. But when is it that, and this is what we're having issues with in this day and age, when black women are at fault, but want to go ahead and say it's both instead of taking accountability for what they did.
So here's the thing, right? And I'm happy you asked that because I have a very logical answer for it, right? I think what happens is it depends on who's asking what and who's presenting the question, right? Because if I'm in an argument and I'm bringing something to my significant other and I say, hey, babe, when you do this, it makes me think that you're doing this, or it makes me feel insignificant, right? When I bring that to her, There's no way in the world she should be deflecting and saying something about what I do to her. You get what I'm saying? So if she's bringing something to me, I should be willing to sit in front of that and deal with her emotions wholeheartedly. But what ends up happening more often than not is we start deflecting, getting in our feelings and saying things like, well, I did that because you left the toilet seat up. Or I did that because you came home late because you was kicking it with Craig and them. No, let's just deal with one thing at a time. We don't deal with, hold on, King. We don't deal with one thing at a time. But just follow me for 1 second, right? I'm gonna play some clips. I'm gonna play some clips because I believe that there's men and women both should be held accountable, right? That's what everybody is echoing, right? That's the echo chamber. What up, though, Angel? I'm gonna get to you in a second, Queen. I just want you to see what's going on with the space and the topic, and you'll get in where you get in, Queen. Give me a second. Shout out to the YouTube viewership. So here's the thing, right? I also need. There's also been some things, and I gotta hold Aaron accountable. Because, and I'm not saying anything that he hasn't said on his public platforms. He said women are stupid. Hello? He said women are children. I'm gonna play some videos though. He said animals are smarter than what? We're gonna have a conversation tonight and it's gonna be an honest one. Hello? I'm gonna play a clip, and that clip is gonna echo the sentiments of some of the things that I've said. Maybe not all, but if you're familiar with the platform, his platform, then you'll get it. So check it out. Live on Broadway podcast. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right. So first, let me start with this. You guys are watching us on YouTube. You guys will see it clearly, right? I'm gonna start with this because animals are smarter than women. Now everything should be digested completely, right? But just every piece of content before drawing a full conclusion on it, you should watch it, right? Entirely, right? Now, what a lot of people don't know is that me and Aaron had a podcast some time ago. Shout out Mr. Mallory, right? We've had a podcast some time ago. And for obvious reasons, the podcast didn't work. And the reason why the podcast didn't work is because we couldn't figure out the name for the podcast. So I think I had a clever idea of saying, yo, why don't we just call the podcast I Totally Disagree Podcast, because we didn't agree on much in the space of certain perspectives. So it's like I'm Morpheus and he's like in the X-Men, I'm like Magneto and he's like Professor X. You get what I'm saying? That's my guy. Love Aaron. I don't agree with everything he says, but I know there's a meaning behind what he's saying, and if you let him speak long enough, he'll get to what he means. But what he says sometimes is alarming, right? So animals are smarter than women. But let's play this clip.
Today, we're about to talk about the biological reason why animals are smarter.
It's very low.
I would say more intelligent.
It's very low on your end?
Women.
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second, beloved.
Today, we're about to talk about the biological reason why animals are smarter, I would say more intelligent than women.
Let's have this conversation. There's some accounting that needs to be accounted for, and the math ain't mathing. I need you guys to tell me when the discourse happens, if it's not indeed so, either one of part, if it's not all the way the man's fault, all the way the woman's fault, and the brunt of the issue falls on both sides, how does it become on these social media streets, YouTube, on Clubhouse? There's these people that are egotistical, what you call that, narcissistic, these people that obviously is trying to throw the first stone and beat the other to the race, to the finish line, because if the other person beats them there first, they feel as though they lost, and that's not actually a fact. So tap in with me. Black women aren't the scapegoat for black men's bad behavior. Tap in with me. That's what we talking about. Tap in with me, Sean.
Ooh.
Yeah, let me know.
First
Let me know
off,
when
I don't agree.
I got you, Rob. I got you, Rob. Tap in with me, Sean.
First off, I don't agree with that with both the reasons. I said earlier that it's specific, but let me generalize it. The person responsible to be the blame is the person who's at the root of the issue. Now, getting to the root of the issue is where we have complications of. But whether it's the man or the woman who is the root of that issue is really where the blame needs to be placed and the accountability needs to be had. Unfortunately, we don't even get to that root because we are so caught up in our emotions instead of the facts.
Say that. Go, Miss V. Go for it, Miss V.
Okay. So in saying that, when you get to the root of the problem, then both people have a part to play. Let me turn it down. So again, let's just say you and I are married. Mm-hmm. I'm doing something not even know that it's bothering you or whatever. I'm just going about my way, right? It's bothering you. But then you may say it's my fault because I never, even considered you or whatever. And you go do whatever. So you got to be held accountable for what you've done, and I got to be held accountable for what I done by not being attentive to your needs or whatever it may be, and you vice versa, going and doing whatever it is you want to do without consulting me. That's where the accountability comes in to where you should be able to have an open forum to be able to discuss communication. It's the key. So in both parts, and can I say this really quickly? In my first marriage, I was so quick to say, oh, it was his fault. Oh, it was his fault. Until I stepped back and I thought about it. I had a role to play too.
Wake that up.
Whether it was big or small,
wake that up.
I had a role to play. And until I admitted my part, I could not move forward.
Yeah.
So I said it was both of our fault, the reason why the marriage didn't work. That's growth.
I hear what you're saying, but once again, you're speaking on a whole different scenario where there was retaliation. Not where there was just an issue and you got to the issue, like you offended that man. He retaliated, is what you're saying. So he became a problem. But if he didn't retaliate, that's a whole, retaliation is immaturity in itself. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to talk about maturity, then he was immature to retaliate to what it is that you did instead of communicate. And if in fact you couldn't receive what he was communicating, you are the issue.
All right, so
that's it.
Freeze frame. Freeze frame, Miss V. Dupreme, tap in with me. How do you feel about the commentary that Miss V and Sean is offering, and add a little bit of your own, beloved?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me in the space. You said something to me earlier, and rather not to me, but you said something to the room earlier, and you said you gave the scenario where, like, if I feel if I have an issue that I want to speak to with my girl, and I've experienced this like pretty recently, and I'm like, well, when you do X, Y, Z, or you communicate with this person, whatever, it always becomes a whole big distraction. We talk about everything else, well, this, that, and if you didn't, instead of just like owning up to the action that that she was doing, right?
Right, right.
So that deflection, man, that shit is crazy. And I thought it was just me, but now that hearing it being framed, I know that this is an issue that occurs. As far as the dialogue between those two, I think in a marriage, it takes two to tangle. But that statement that your man made, Aaron, like that right there, and I don't even care what kind of context it was in. The fact that he could formulate a sentence and say that animals are smarter than women, yo, man, I was appalled. I was literally appalled by that statement, and I don't see it being any other way but a misogynist. What's the word? Yeah, I know the word I'm looking
Misogynistic.
for. Right. That's a crazy statement. Is that you belittle the woman in that way? Like I've never heard no shit like that ever. And so I want to go into that because I'm like, where does that come from? And it comes from somebody being frustrated and irritated because they can't achieve what they want to
Hey,
achieve from women.
hey,
Alan.
I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna tell you right now. I think it's a fear. I think it's a phobia. I think when
Yes.
I think when
Yes.
I think when we find men, and including myself, because I haven't always been perfect. I jump on this platform and I'll get to this red hat and what it means to this platform in a moment. I'll get to that. But I think that men, we've become so threatened by women. Let's just wake it up. I think that some men, I'm not going to make it a generalized, pluralized statement. I don't want to make it a general statement. I want to make it a general statement. Excuse me. Sorry. I think some men, we have become so threatened by the growth and development of women that some men have started to become echo chambers for their disdain for women. And it's not to necessarily say that it's the woman's fault. It's almost like, if you want me to get a little bit deep on it, it's almost like white people in slavery, right? With black people, where white people started to feel some sort of way that black people were gaining their own independence and start doing different things to trick black people out their position. But it wasn't the black people's fault. It was the white people really feeling inferior to the fact that black people was gaining a foot in the game, a foot in the race, right? So it's somebody said something to me a long time ago, and I didn't understand it quite when she said it. But they said, because it was appalling, what they said was black men are the white men to black women. Just let that sit there for a second. She said black men are the white man to black women.
Now, what are black women?
Hold on. Black women are oppressed. Black women are Black women are silenced. Black women are told that you do this and that it's okay for you to stay here and do this, but I gotta go over here and I can go over here and do that. But that's not fair. And we know in our heart of hearts that that's not fair. We know that, right? But we like to justify our antics. And I'm saying we because, goddamn it, I had to hold myself accountable. And I probably done did some shit back in the day that I wasn't totally aware of because of my teachings. And that's what we here to talk about, the teachings.
Okay.
And how we were taught, because a lot of it isn't even our fault. We was raised to be told, don't cry. We was raised to be told a lot of shit that's not valid in 2020. I'm just going to say 2023. Sean, to that you say what? Because I see you, beloved.
Okay. To that I say, first and foremost, you have a very valid point, and so does the woman that made that point to you. But I go further and deeper into it because, quite frankly, it's not feeling threatened by all black men. There are men who are feeling threatened. I agree with that.
I believe that men that attack women and don't make it a fair, balanced a playing field that only comes, their narrative is strictly based about what women aren't doing, are threatened and weak men.
I feel that you believe that, but you need to really stop generalizing that and get to specifics. And let me explain why I'm saying it.
Okay.
First and foremost, the responsibility of some of the mentality of our sisters and our black women is primarily our fault. We are the ones who created the monster, so to speak. Now, the monster that I'm referring to is the person who has only had themselves to count on because they were disappointed by the men that they either had in their lives or that they chose to be in their life. And once you are the person who only takes who only takes accountability and trusts yourself only because of whatever circumstances, you then become a controlling person because you're trying to control in order to safeguard your vulnerability. And that is what we did as men. We were selfish. We were, it is echoing.
I hear you. Go for it.
All right. We were selfish. We were not prioritizing our family structure. And it failed the security, the foundation of our family structure. We were guilty of that. Now, the women are doing a reflection of and doing what we did. And some of the men that have an issue with it is because they already know the results of what happens from that. And what we're trying to share with them is that you are on a path to destructive places where we have already been. And we're trying to help you embrace that together we will be better. Divided is what has always failed us. And we're continuing to further divide now that you're in the position that we were in. And we irresponsibly held that position in a lot of different ways. A lot of men did that.
Got you. Ashley, to that you say what, Queen?
I mean, I'm over here listening to exactly what he is saying, and the thing that's popping in my head is I apologize goes a long way. When men realize what it is that you've done to us and you really apologize and you look within yourself and find out where you went wrong in the situation, that shit hit like no other. And I don't think my brother on the other land is really taking that concept in.
Well, if you feel that way, let me say this, sis. I apologize. I don't understand where you don't feel that I'm not regretful or remorseful or trying to repent for the actions of men as well as the reactions that I might have. So if an apology is what you feel or need, by all means, I apologize. Now that the apologize is there, is where I'm at. How do we move forward together to build and understand each other?
So the interesting part. What up, though, Sean? Brooklyn Sean in the room, was in the building. What's happening, beloved? That's it. Come off, then come back on because it's on your side.
Crazy.
It's on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, King. You gotta turn your volume up. I can hear you.
The volume got very low. Like I hear you say that you can hear me, but it's very low.
All right, that's cool. Jump off, then jump back on.
All right, let me see if I could. All right, cool. That's what I'm doing.
All right, cool. So what I'm seeing is and thank you for that, Sean. Right? Thank you for that. Right? Because here's the thing inside of that. I know this is gonna sound real crazy, but I remember watching this Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Right? I'm a big Curb fan. I get that type of sense of humor. I love Curb, and Larry Davis was apologizing because somebody told him that he needed to apologize to somebody. So he was sitting there apologizing, but you know what he was doing while he was sitting there apologizing on the phone? He was eating peanuts. And let me tell you how apology sounds when you're eating peanuts. It sounds like, yo, I I apologize. It doesn't sound and come across very genuine was the subtext to it, right? So when, and not saying you, Sean, right? Not saying you, beloved, but saying that black men, we can't apologize for the things that the road, and I'm not saying all black men, like I'm not saying all black women. Black men, though, for those that do need apologizing, we can't apologize and be upset with it, right? Or be condescending with the apology, because the subtext gives, you don't really mean it. You're saying it, but it doesn't hit home. I don't feel that. So yes, I could be in an argument or confrontation with my significant other, going back and forth, and she say exactly what Ashley just stated, which was, only thing you had to say was, I apologize. And I go, yeah, well, I apologize. And now what? And now it sounds like she doesn't feel it. It doesn't come across as being genuine. So just as much as it's our responsibility to say apologize, how Ashley highlighted, it's also it's also our job and duty to make sure that it's heartfelt and that you receive it. Even if, because after that, then the ball is in your court. It's no longer on me. But I want to yield to Lundria and Clubhouse and see how they feel, because and I see these comments coming in. Shout out to Billy. I see you, Miss V. Shout out to Melba. I honestly feel like black women shouldn't be the scapegoat for black men's bad behavior. Just because I go out here and I cheat and now I feel inferior, or I feel not inferior, that's not the word, help me out, guys. I feel self-conscious that I went and cheated, so now you might go and cheat, and now, or I go out and have a bad day at work, and now, or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm not making enough money. We drowning in debt. So now I start to put that on my significant other. I start to look at her weird and funny, because I feel as though, because of my bad decisions and my choices, now I don't want her going out with her girls because I feel like she's going to step out and do some shit. No, I shouldn't feel that way. That's not a her thing. That's a me thing. And I said this, right? I said this to somebody. I said, yo, I was having a conversation and somebody disagreed and they was giving me pushback, and I felt some sort of way, and I started giving them resistance. And the person I said that to, they was like, yeah, they was tripping and they was co-signing what I was saying. But then in that moment, I was listening to myself as I was speaking also. And I said, nah, hold on. I don't need an echo chamber. It's my fault for feeling the way that I feel. It's not your fault for what you say to me that makes me feel the way that I feel. So if Miss V says to me, yo, Broadway, you tripping, and I go irate, oh, let's dumb it down and make it plain. If I'm on my way going to wherever I'm going to, and I'm in traffic, sitting in traffic, and somebody cut me off, and they do something, and I got and I have somebody in shotgun sitting passenger, and I say to them, yeah, I spaz out, and they say, and I say, yeah, they made me do what? No, they didn't make me do anything. A therapist would say, I'm projecting my own self-hatred. I'm projecting my own anger onto them. They didn't make me do anything. I have my own drama. I have my own shit that I'm dealing with that I haven't dealt with yet. So a lot of times, these comments, these gurus, these clubhouse people, these platforms, they say things and they haven't dealt with their own shit yet. So what I'm saying is we need to start looking within and stop looking without, because you will start having nothing. You get what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down on now. Tap in with me, Angel. You've been a silent assassin. I need you to tap in with me, Queen. What up, though?
I was just praying with my kids. Give me a second.
All right, cool. It's cool. Tap in, Miss V. We got a few. We got.
Listen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You're going to make me flip my chair over, because that's all I've been saying. A lot of times when a person come off as being condescending to other people, especially a man it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman, you have issues within yourself that you have yet to resolve.
Wake that up.
That's it.
Wake it up.
Ooh, okay. True. That's true. First off, a lot of things. Those who can't trust can't be trusted, to your point.
I like that.
So when in fact that is being projected when they have done something and they're feeling insecure that you might do it, that's what they're going through, and that's a whole different element. But facts over feelings. When you don't trust, trusting is really the root of it all. So if somebody, for example, you apologize.
You said facts over feelings? I just want to make sure I heard you right.
Facts over feelings.
Okay.
Absolutely. Facts over feelings. I say it again. We have a tendency to get in our feelings, and our feelings get in the way of the facts. So the point that I'm making in that is, for example, if I apologize genuinely, if you don't trust that or you don't feel that it's genuine, that's your feeling. The only person who can attest to whether it's genuine or not is the person who's apologized.
Mm.
Now, if in fact you want to feel better and you need him to say it in a way to make you feel better, how about you look at perhaps that's your sensitivity? And I understand it. And if in fact he loves you or she loves you, they might be able to embrace that. But the point is that we need to understand the fact is that you're sensitive at the way that they said it.
Mm.
And you weren't able to receive or trust that they said it genuinely. And so you went ahead and thought that it was untrue. And to somebody who don't trust you or don't feel it, you could be butt naked with "I love you" tattooed on your ass, spinning on your head. And the person still won't believe that they love you, that you love them, because they don't trust you. So don't put it on the person who you don't trust.
Offered the apology.
Right. Put it on, well, why don't I believe this?
Well, all right. So we have two Seans up here. Give me 1 second, guys. We have two Seans up here. I'm going to refer to Brooklyn Sean as Brooklyn Sean. You get what I'm saying? All right, cool. Y'all both from Brooklyn?
Yeah, we both from Brooklyn.
Oh, shit. All right, so look.
East New York.
East New York. What's happening?
What?
Yo, man. Shout out to Sean, man. I hear you, man.
New York and Bed-Stuy, right?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So
East Flatbush, baby.
All right, so
day.
just for the conversation, I'm going to refer to Brooklyn Sean as my guy Sean down below with the Marlins hat or whatever the case is, and we're going to do it like that. I need everybody hit that link and hit that like button. Hit that like button. Feel free to support the show by hitting that Cash App or sending us a super chat by adding some color to the chat on YouTube. Please feel free to send that super chat through. Thank you very much. Listen.
Real quickly.
I want to say something to you.
Brooklyn Sean.
Okay.
You can refer to him as Brooklyn. I'm in LA, so refer to him as Brooklyn Sean.
All right, now he flexing. All right, cool. I ain't mad at you. All right, so listen. So to you, Sean, right? My question becomes: you said fact over feeling. I agree with that, but it depends on what we're talking about. Because often in feelings, in relationships, it could be we talking about fact. We talking about logics, right? What makes sense? What's the hardcore bottom line of it all when it comes to what makes sense? But sometimes we're talking about feelings, and both should be able to, it's not always facts over feelings. Sometimes it's feelings over facts. Because what's a matter of fact might not be in alignment with my feelings, because yes, it's a matter of fact that I really don't. But let's just make this an analogy. It's a matter of fact that I'm my own man. I'm independent, and I like to go to strip clubs and make it rain on strippers. Right? That's a matter of fact. I should be able to do that because but my significant other may say it makes me feel like XYZ. And I'm dealing with her feelings, so it doesn't always mean that it's fact over feelings. Sometimes it's feeling over facts.
I disagree with that. That if you sitting there going to a strip club and you claim you have a significant other and ain't your business, you're a selfish person, and you need to consider that. Because what I'm saying is that yes, feelings can be over facts if somebody is compassionate or considerate enough to embrace that. Everybody don't got to be compassionate and considerate to what somebody else's feelings are.
So let me ask you something.
That's something you are.
Give me 1 second, Alice. I want to ask Sean one thing, and then I yield my mic to you. So the question to you, Sean, is are you okay with your feelings not being acknowledged and accepted in the relationship?
Once again, I never said not being acknowledged or accepted. I said if I have compassion for the person, I'm going to consider their feelings. Just the same way you should if you're going to a strip club knowing damn well you shouldn't be going to no strip club. If, in fact, you got a woman home.
You're not answering the question.
I just did. I said, never said I don't consider.
I didn't say you said that, though. I'm asking you a separate question. It's an independent question. Do you feel your feelings should not be acknowledged and accepted or respected in a relationship?
That's too broad of a question.
How? How? Yes, my feelings should. My feelings should be accepted and respected in a relationship. It's not a broad question.
You said how, and it is a broad question. I was going to explain it. That's a very broad question. Now, the reason why I'm saying that broad way,
I'm confused. I'm confused.
I understand you're going to continue to be confused until you let me explain it. You asked how. Let me answer the question. Okay. So how is it a broad question? Because if my feelings get in my way of our growing, then no, my feelings should not be considered. If I'm in my feelings,
Sean, you moving the goalpost. Sean, you moving the goalpost, man. I asked you one question. It's a yes or no. Should your feelings be accepted and respected in a relationship? You're moving the goalpost by saying that it's a broad question. It's not a broad question, because if you ask anybody on the platform right now, they're gonna say, "I want my feelings to be accepted and respected in a relationship." It's not broad. It's simple.
Am I on the panel? Am I on the panel?
Yes.
So I'm one of the people on the panel, and it is. So you ain't asking, you disagreeing. Y'all disagree and don't agree with what I'm saying. So don't sit there and say you asked anybody, because you're asking me, and I'm telling you. You said first off, should it be accepted?
You're going around. You're not answering. Okay.
Listen.
Go ahead.
You asked, should it be accepted
and respected?
And what?
Should your feelings be accepted and respected in a relationship?
Okay. Now, what I'm saying is those are two things. Accepted and respected are two different things.
Okay.
Accepted, yes.
Respected,
not always.
It don't. No. It don't mean you have to agree with my feelings. It just means that you got to respect my feelings. It don't mean you got to agree.
Did you hear what I said? You was talking. You was talking. I said accepted. Yes.
You're saying, listen.
No.
Sean.
Let me tap in.
Yeah, please, Miss V, because you're going back and forth with me, and what I'm saying is your feelings, everybody's feelings, let's be clear here, should be accepted and respected. That don't mean you got to agree with my feelings because you respect it. Okay, I respect Sean, right now, I respect how you feel. I disagree with how you feel, but I respect how you feel because those are your feelings.
But I'm not asking you to respect how I feel.
All right, can I tap in?
Go ahead, Miss V, because he's moving the goalposts.
Yes, your partner's feelings should be respected and accepted. Because here's the thing, this is what end up happening in a relationship. Okay, you said if you like going to the strip club and maybe I don't. But guess what? You're honest enough to let me know that's what you like to do. Well, can we come to a compromise? It's as simple as that, because when you start denying how another person feels, that opens the door for other things to happen. Boom.
All right, now.
Hold on, Sean. Go ahead, Allison. Then we'll go to Dupree.
So since we're using the strip club as a scenario, if you are my husband, Sean, and you tell me that you're going to the strip club, and I say, I don't really like you going to the strip club, we will compromise though. And I'll say, okay, so I would like for you to come to be home at a reasonable time. 3:00. You come in at 4:00, you apologize, but you're only apologizing because I said that I don't want you to do it. You don't respect my opinion, because if you did, then you would come home at a reasonable time knowing that I don't like and want you to be there. So basically you're discounting my feelings. There it goes again, facts over feelings. And the apology that you give me is not genuine at all.
Hold on, Dupree, tap in, Dupree. Dupree, you by your mic, beloved? We can't hear you. You still mute up, Mike. You still muted up. All right, he'll come back. He'll come back. What up, though, Kelly? Brooklyn Sean, how you feel about it, beloved? What's your thoughts, beloved? Appreciate you being on the stage as well.
No doubt, man. I got like a few minutes here before I got to start class soon. Give me a little reset.
So we're pretty much having a conversation, and it dovetails with the situation that me and Sean above you was just going back and forth with. It pretty much black women aren't the scapegoat for a black man's behavior. So with that being in mind, just because I'm a black man doesn't give me the right of way to just do what I want to do and just act like because my woman is saying something or doing something that I get to be the whatever it is I'm going through is the scapegoat for me to be and be overwhelming to my significant other. So, and the analogy that we're speaking on is our black. I just need you to read the room because there's so many different layers and so many different things that's being said across the panel that you may get lost a little bit. So just to be clear, we're having a conversation right now about black women aren't the scapegoat for black men's bad behavior, and black men like to do things and say things. And I'm not. And listen, sometimes men are right. Sometimes men are right. Sometimes men are wrong and women are right, and vice versa. As far as men,
I think I'm gonna take it from here.
Thank you.
I mean, because I ain't gonna lie, like personally, I've been dealing with this stuff kind of like right now, right? And I'm very respectful. Like I would like to say I'm groomed and respectful. I may not be saying that I'm like I understand like emotional intelligence like that, right? Because like I think it's because of my upbringing. But I know how to empathize, right? I know how to feel like empathy and and be able to like see certain things. But sometimes I move in an autonomous way sometimes, right? Because I move with confidence in what I'm doing. And in the nature of what I do in the photography world, as me being a photographer, I build content, right? Mm-hmm. I do have a niche. I'm a headshot specialist and I'm a fashion portrait photographer, but I do dabble in other facets of the photography world. So like, me having my partner, you know what I mean? Like, my partner. And it's just like, I had a delicate age.
I love y'all two together, by the way.
Appreciate that. And, me having my partner at a delicate age, she know that I came from a place of networking. But, we first had jumped into this point.
So is there anything that your partner or you, for that matter, I'm coming to you in a second, Dupreme, stay by your mic. Is there anything that you or your partner could do? How long have you been with your significant other? Let's start from here.
11 plus years.
11 plus years. Have you ever used her as a scapegoat for your bad behavior?
When you for a scapegoat for my I wouldn't like to say I don't want to say no bad behavior, bro.
I'm just saying
I'm not no bad timing.
No, so I respect that. I respect that.
I want you to get it.
What I'm saying is I think that we've all men holding ourselves accountable. When you get with a woman, you have to acquiesce to that woman and vice versa. One woman isn't the same as all women. So I have to treat Miss V different from how I treat Precious. I have to treat Tracy different from how I treat Terica, right? I have to treat Allison different from how I treat Ashley. Every woman is different. So with that being said, some things I may be able to get away with on Laundria that I can't get away with Penny. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. But the caveat is some men move in situations as though it's a blanket statement, and it's not. It's not.
Yeah. So, right. So basically, what I'm.
Go ahead, finish your point. Then I'm gonna throw it to Dupreme.
Yeah, definitely. So. What I'm basically saying, with this said, is just me doing photography. Like right now, I'm on my boudoir page, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you see, I have other pages, but right now I'm on my boudoir page.
Yeah, I
got the notification with you on here, and I think I'm following you here, other than the other ones. But I have other pages.
I got you.
So the half naked and stuff like that. She's not like,
She's not okay
um,
with you posting half naked
she's
photos.
not okay with that.
Okay.
And it's not saying that I'm okay with it, but it's normal for me. I don't get excited about the shit or nothing. It's just that I'm just building content and I'm networking with people. I'm just doing a service.
I follow. I
So
follow.
it has nothing to do for me when I come into it confidently and I'm in and out. It has nothing to do with my space in my world in my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it should. Like it's just like it's different relationships. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like personal relationship and it's like networking relationships. Like that's what we have. Like nothing should never come over the family or well, like I said, like
I get you.
it was a build up. It was a build up.
I follow you. I follow you.
You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna end right here because I don't know where you're going. But like I said, I had to grow to understand that in situations you got to be able to compromise and empathize with a woman is feeling instead of moving just autonomously. You know what I mean? Just moving in your decision. Even though a man could be confident because certain things can make a woman feel insecure and it can ruin something if it's a build up. If you're not hearing it. So that's just what I'm saying. And I'm realizing to grow with hearing more and applying that what a woman's feel, like what a woman's feel, you know what I'm saying, versus something that it may be nothing to us, but it will be a lot for them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Thank you for that,
trying to
Sean.
have some discernment.
Thank you for that,
that's
Brooklyn
it, man.
Sean.
I
Yeah, no. Discernment is very important. Discernment is very important. Dupreme, tap in. You by your mic, King. Dupreme.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yes, sir. All right, cool. Pardon me. So, all right. So I just paint a scenario. I'm talking to, a woman, and well, this is past situation, but we're dating or whatever, and she stays in contact with her ex, right? It's like, and then when I say, well, I'm not feeling that, like, what this dude calling you for, this, that, and the third, you got a man, yada, 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 because as a man, if I know a woman is involved with a dude, I'm not gonna be reaching out to her like that. I don't care. I don't go for all that. Oh, we friend. Look, I'm gonna respect that man because they're in a relationship. Even if
Sure.
she says, "Oh, okay, you can still call me," I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I ain't moving like that, right? And so if she doesn't, if she feels, she'll say, "Well, I respect what you're saying, or I accept what you're saying, right? I know how you feel." But you continue to do it. So for me, yo, fuck it. I'm not going to trust her. I'm just simply not going to trust her. Right. And that's the bottom line because you have aligned yourself with the friendship that you have with your ex over with the man that you with right now is telling you. Like the man that you with right now, it's got to be like, yo, you know what? We rocking. And therefore, I'm not going to give another man energy over you.
I see.
And that's how I feel.
I see what you're saying, but let me ask you this question: What would you say to the woman that responds with, "But we just start rocking, we just start dating. You got to build up some equity with me before I just start riding with you and whatnot." How would you respond to that?
Well, I wouldn't even have that request if we wasn't rocking like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if I just meet, like, cause I'm assume somebody got somebody around, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not gonna require anything, but if we locked in, we spend the time. My mom, I know you, like we rocking, and yet every now and then, this dude calling you on holiday. Oh, I'm just calling. Yo, what the fuck? Fuck that. Like, yo, and now I'm gonna say this. Like, no, cause then I'm gonna say to that man, like, yo, she told you she got a man, right? Like, the situation, right? So then I'ma just X her to the side, and now it's me and that man. Now that man got a problem with me. Because he's supposed to know as a man that you not supposed to do that shit, man. You like
So
that's
so
not how the game works.
so wait, dude, make it make sense, right? So black women aren't the scapegoat for a black man's bad behavior. Tie that in.
Okay. So in this case,
That sandwich or whatever
well,
you eating sound good, beloved.
pardon me, y'all. Y'all gotta pardon me. Obviously, I
It's
was
all
eating
right.
out.
It's all right.
But I think a woman is not a scapegoat per se, but she definitely, by her proximity emotionally within a man's life, can be a trigger She can be a trigger. She has the ability to trigger emotional responses from a man. If he is not skilled, then he will put in his mind that she's the reason why he's doing it versus she's doing it because she wants to control me and do that. So he uses her as a scapegoat. So my thing is this, man, stand on your square. Don't let no woman manipulate you in no shape, form, or fashion. Stand on your square, stand on your truth. Because if you calculate or you if you bring in what she's doing into how you gonna behave, then that's the wrong thing. You gotta behave how you gonna behave.
Thank you for
I
that.
land.
Thank you for that, dude. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Shout out to Tracy T for the thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Shout out to the super chat. I see you, Tracy. I appreciate you adding some color to this podcast, to this conversation. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate it. I yield my mic to Miss Penny Lane. Penny, tap in with me, Queen. Her name not Penny Lane, but I'm just gonna call her Penny. What up, though, Queen? How you feel? Black women aren't the scapegoat for black men's behavior. Tap in with us. How you feel?
Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Penny Black, right?
Hit
That's
that
on
like
all.
button. Hit that like button on YouTube. Hit that like button. Go ahead. Go for it, Queen.
So, yeah. The thing about it is, so the title is "Women Aren't the Scapegoat for a Man's Bad Behavior."
Wait a second.
But
Hold that thought. We got my guy Sean that just tapped in and threw some badges on Instagram. Let's go, Sean. I appreciate you for that, beloved. Round of applause. You support the platform. We appreciate it. Apologies, Miss Penny. I apologize, but listen, goddammit, I gotta show love to the people that support us. Go ahead, Miss Penny. I'm sorry.
it's cool.
She gonna kill me.
So, it's cool. So, yeah, the title is saying that women aren't the scapegoat for men's bad behavior, but the truth is women are the scapegoat for men's bad behavior.
Wake it up.
And history speaks to it, just everything. Like, women, if you believe in the Bible, women have been cursed, and women do take the slack. When a woman gets raped, they ask her, oh, well, what were you wearing? Like, they're not thinking about the other side. Or when a woman is left holding the baby by herself, it's like, oh, you knew he was a deadbeat, but not all the time you don't. So women, that is the burden of a woman. So when you understand what's really going on in the world, you understand that that's the life that we live in. Women are the scapegoats for men's bad behavior. And it just is what it is. Now you don't have to subscribe to that. You don't have to, really, you don't have to subscribe to that. You don't have to accept that as a woman. You don't have to what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't have to show that as a man, but it really is relevant, and you see it all around you. So that's how I feel.
So just to be clear, you're saying that the title reads, women aren't the scapegoat for man's bad behavior, but they are, because in reality, in every situation, it shows that women become the scapegoat. Women are to blame for men doing the things that we do.
Yeah, for sure. Like, women, like, look at Clubhouse. Look at all these rooms that blame women constantly for men's behavior, whether it's not being in their kids' lives, whether it's not being a stand-up man, whether it's not being a protector. Like, I said this in another room specifically for the Black community. It is really embarrassing, and I don't think that Black men understand that when they are having these rooms and saying, oh, we want to go 50-50, or we want to do that, men of other races are laughing at you. They're not laughing with you because they're not holding those spaces. They're laughing at you. So I just feel like, yeah, women are the scapegoats for weak men. For people who, I feel like for men who understand they role, it's like a woman could never be my scapegoat because I'm not accepting that shit. That's sucker shit. That's his outlook. But for a man that is a boy, or for a man who's been enabled by women, as most men have, their moms, their aunts, their grandmoms, you know what I mean? They're used to women being the scapegoats. So
Okay. So hear me, right? Hear me. I want to throw it to Miss V. Laundry, I'm gonna come to you next. So get yourself together, beautiful. And after Laundry, we're gonna enter final thoughts. Tap in with me, Miss V. What's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I would like to say, for the most part, when all these men on the platform are talking, all of them are fucking single. Where did you run? Where did you go? You got so much time.
Hello?
Exactly.
Hello?
That's just like you telling me how to have a baby.
Wake that up! Wake that up!
That's like you telling me how to give birth to a child.
Right.
Little ass niggas
Wake that up!
Broke as fuck, trying to tell somebody else what they need to do, and they can't even step up to the fucking plate themselves.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Can this microphone? Can you hear me on this microphone? ET, hello. No, hello. No.
Hi,
Okay.
V. Are you angry or something?
I'm just saying that was a bar.
Now,
Very irritating to see these men on the platform telling women how to get married, what they should do, and they haven't even done shit themselves. They single and broke as fuck.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, she on one. Somebody get the extinguisher. We need some cooling down in here. God damn it, she on one.
So failed marriages are awarded. Should they be celebrated?
Listen, sometimes people grow apart, but if you are single, how can you tell me how to get married?
The same way, if I was a smoker, I can tell you not to smoke.
That's hypocritical.
Once again, if in fact you have avoided, like I just said, I asked you a question. I said, is a failed marriage, whether it's divorce or whether it's failing because it's not productive, is that something to be awarded?
I award and applaud anybody to get out of a situation that's not working. Can a broke person tell me how to get rich?
Possibly.
No, they can't. But why ain't they got it?
The same concept that I just said with a smoker. Because if a person was rich and they lost their money, they can tell you how to get rich. They might not be able to tell you how to sustain that money, but they can tell you how to get rich because they already did.
No, that's not what I said. I said, can a broke person? I know once you make money, you know how to make it. If I made $1 million today and lost it tomorrow, I know how to go out and get it. But a broke ass cannot tell me how to get money.
Why
Wake it up.
Somebody that's not married cannot tell me how to get married.
Why can't he? Why can't a broke person tell you how to get money?
Why are you gonna? If you already broke and you want to tell me how to get money, why is your ass still broke?
Maybe that's his choice.
Come on, wait, come on, but hold on, just hold on, Miss V, Sean, just hold on.
Man, y'all got one perspective.
No, it's not. But come on, we gotta have an honest. But Sean, hold on, Sean. We gotta have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
So when you say just give me 1 second, beloved, and I'm gonna give you the mic. And then I see Dupreme trying to tap into. If we having an honest conversation, she said broke person can't tell person can a broke person tell another person how to get rich? You said yes. What if that's what they want to be is broke? Who wants to be broke? Show me one person. Just hold on. Just have an honest conversation. Let's not just spew things out there with the semantics of. Show me one broke person that's unfortunate, that's disenfranchised, that don't have it, that wants to be in that situation. I don't know. God, I'm 42 this year, and I've never met one person in my 42 years on this planet Earth that wants to be broke. I just haven't met him.
Okay.
Wow. Hold on. Can I jump in real quick?
Go for it, Dupreme, and then we'll throw it back to Sean.
So I'm gonna say this, right? And so I'm a little older than you, right? Broadway. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When somebody says how can a broke person tell me how to get money? That person who says that is broke, right? That person who says that is broken. That person who says that is incapable of getting to that bag, right? I know what it's like to have money, to lose money, and to gain it back. Like I know, yeah,
Mhm.
fuck
Me
yeah, I
too.
can tell
Yep.
people how to get to some bag, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. But but the only way they're gonna get to that bag is if they have the drive, right? Because the jewels that you learn from experiences that I've had is powerful jewels. And if someone wants to give you a jewel, that's like you walking down the street, you don't know which
Yeah,
way you want to go, but there's a homeless person standing there, and they
yeah,
could say, well, go in this direction, now to get you there, and you look at the person and go, I'm not gonna listen to them. They homeless. Like that makes
exactly.
no sense. You
Yeah,
so that's why I said, so when a person talks like that, broke person can't tell me that right there is vitriol. That right there is a
correct.
closed mind in of itself. And you don't get to no bag with a closed mentality thinking that you can't learn from somebody. Because
But
once
but
you
but see
close
but
your
but, but
mind,
see but see
you close
Dupreme,
everything else.
hear me. I'm not saying that you can't offer the opinion. I'm saying that why are you still homeless? Why are you still broke then?
Well, you should ask that individual.
Right. Well, right. That individual may have just hit a road or whatever and just like, all right, I ain't into that shit or whatever. But they could offer, like you right now, if you was to walk down the street and you would see a wealthy person, let's say a Jay-Z. For some reason he loses everything. You know you could tap into his brain. You know he could tell you some stories and give you some information, etc., etc. But his journey is no longer that anymore. For whatever reason it is. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. I know that he is a
Exactly.
proven individual. I land.
So hear me, right? And I agree with
Mm.
Melba. First, I agree with Melba. Melba said he just had to come up with something real quick because Miss V, and Miss V was on his ass. So just hold on, right? Just hold on. So here's the thing, right?
Uh,
What's reality versus what actually happened? No. What's reality versus what's figuratively is two different things. Yes, we know. I've had conversations with homeless men. I've been homeless. I've been that person, right? Through God's grace and mercy, I'm him, and I'm now doing something total. I'm that nigga now, but get Broadway, get off your soapbox. Back to reality. So
No, but I
so so
respect
so
your hustle though.
so hear me, beloved, right? So in reality, we know what you are saying is a matter of fact, right? A broke person can tell a person how to get to the bag. Now, is that broke person going to adhere to everything that broke person say? Probably not, because they don't have it. Because the mindset is always, well, if you could tell me how to build a house and you live in a sewer, you don't want to live in a sewer. Why aren't you living in a house if you can tell me all the right ways of building one?
can you just listen to what you're saying? Your mindset is set where you have it. And what he just said explains exactly what I was saying. Your mindset is closed to something other than what you're familiar with or what you idolize or what you are pursuing. So you
Sean,
don't agree. And wait, you spoke. Let me finish. Let me land, as they say in this world. Uh, so what I was saying to Z, and to his point, he couldn't have said it closer, better. Is that when you have the mindset of you can't be taught by somebody that doesn't look like or doesn't seem like or is broke, quote unquote, guess what? As a believer in the Lord, you wouldn't even be able to recognize Jesus if he came up and spoke to you, because that's exactly what he looked like.
we
And
ain't
you
talking about faith.
sitting there,
We ain't
and
talking
you
about
sitting there,
faith.
and you sit,
Stop it,
No,
man.
you
Stop with the moving the goalposts. We ain't talking about God. We ain't talking
man,
about
I don't got
politics. Hold on.
Broadway. I'm
Just hold
talking
on,
about
King.
Broadway. You ain't respecting what I'm talking about. No, you're
I
not.
am,
You
because
calling
I
it.
hear you loud and clear. Only thing I'm saying
I didn't say
is
you ain't listening to what I said. You ain't respecting it. Big difference. You ain't respecting it. You think I'm moving the goalpost. No, I'm not. I'm just not agreeing with your mindset. Your mindset is where, oh, nobody can tell me, why does he want? And I'm like, yo, I've been in the places where I've seen multi-billionaires
yeah.
unhappy. I don't want to be unhappy and a multi-billionaire. I'd rather be broke.
that. Well,
Personally.
listen.
Personally.
Can you tell me how to give birth to a child?
Can I tell you how to give birth?
You tell me what it's like to give birth to a
Can
child.
I tell you what it's like to give birth? No.
Okay, thank
I
you.
can tell you.
No
I can
further
tell you.
questions.
I can tell you
No further
from my. I
questions.
can tell you a man doesn't give birth, so he can't. Just like you can't tell me what a man is like. So my question is, all this stuff you talking about a man, you can't tell me because you're not a man. Point to my question.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot
So
kill.
so why are we going through that rhetoric? I agree that I
Because
cannot.
listen,
I
somebody
agree.
single cannot tell me how to get married. Somebody single cannot tell me how to get. They
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
What are you
Guess
talking about?
what?
I'm not
Somebody.
saying this to you directly. I'm just
No,
saying
I'm
a
not.
person who's never been in a relationship or been in a marriage cannot tell me how it goes.
And what I'm saying to you is that's a poor, and that's a poor place to be because guess what? You don't know how it's going to look and where the information is going to come from that might be valuable to what you need.
I hear you.
Wait, hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. I've been married before, right? And what she said, look, no single I listen to people, especially on this platform, bro. If you have not been married, like people try to discount people that have been divorced, right? At least they gave it a shot. I was married for 8 years, which if you do the homework, that's the average amount of average is 8 years, right? So what I'm saying to you is this. If I say, yeah, I was married, it didn't work out. I know why it didn't work out. I've learned from it. I can counsel somebody that's entering into marriage. Of course I can. Of course I can, but I'm not going to listen to a person that has never been married. I'm not going to listen to them because they don't know. They're theorizing.
Brother NV, both of y'all lend into my point. The point that you just mentioned was you're not going to listen. Doesn't mean that they're not going to have value in what they say because you don't listen.
All right, so look. Let's because we could go on all day with this.
That's crazy. That's the hamster wheel.
I just think that. Hey, listen to your point, Sean. You know, I definitely was trying to say that I didn't respect what you were saying, and that's not the case, right? But that is what I was doing, so I take that back. I don't agree with what you were saying, but I definitely respect what you're saying, right? Hey, listen, I know what it's like to be a young man and a young boy, and as a young boy, you know, I know firsthand that being a young boy, we wasn't respecting what Pete, the advice that people was giving us as young boys. And as we got older, that might have changed. But as little boys, I'm not respecting what you telling me, and you out here looking crazy and out of pocket. I'm not doing it. I wasn't doing it, right? So, but look, let's open up the platform for final thoughts. Let's have the conversation and talk about black women aren't the scapegoat for black men's bad behavior. Final thoughts. I'm gonna give it to Clubhouse and give it to Ashley, and then let me PTR. I'm gonna give it to Ashley, and then I'll come around and give it to Clubhouse for the final thoughts. I'll end with you, Miss V, respectfully. Tap in with me, Ashley. Final thoughts, Queen. Final thoughts. Hold on. Yes. Before wait. God damn it. Before you actually go into final thoughts, just Monday 2 days ago, we celebrated hitting 8K. That's what that 8 in the background is about back there. So shout out.
Hey.
You know, shout out to the YouTube viewership. But now we are at 8,903 followers. So 809. I need about 30. I need about 40. Is it 40? Where we at? Let me see let me get a more specific number. Read on this number. We need about 7. Is it 7? I don't know what I'm looking at right now. I can't see it from this angle. But we need about 7 followers on YouTube. 7 followers on YouTube. Tap in with us. Follow the page on YouTube. Follow the channel on YouTube. We need about 7 subscribers before we hit 9,000 subscribers. Shout out to you guys for making that true, for bringing that true. Let me just make sure and tap in and see if my number is right. Am I carrying the 3 and multiplying the 2? All right, cool. Nope. We need about maybe 70. We need about 70. So I'll take all that back. We just gonna walk it back. I had the numbers. It wasn't showing all of the numbers. Ashley, take it away, Queen.
Hey, yes. So thank you so much, Broadway, for hosting the space. this was a good topic, and within the topic, the thing that stands out to me is shadow work and doing self-evaluation in one's self. And if we continue to have conversations like this and people start listening to understand and then speaking after they get a quite understanding on what's going on, I think we'll get somewhere. But continuing to have conversations like this and great dialogue, I feel like we'll figure out a way, to be able to proceed forward. So all peace and love to everybody.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Lundria, tap in. How you feel? Final thoughts, Queen.
So this was a really good conversation, but what I do have to say, it was very exhausting. To the point of women aren't the scapegoat for men's bad behavior. I don't believe that we are. However, I believe just even listening to some of the banter, it's not that we're the scapegoat, it's that we're exhausted. So we end up tolerating a lot of BS out of being exhausted. And the deflection a lot of the time causes no resolve. You sit in the conversation and you're trying to communicate, and like you said, you're presenting an issue, and then that other person is presenting an issue when you really should be, like Ashley said, seeking to understand the situation instead of not listening. You're not listening to formulate an understanding and then self-reflecting. You're listening so that you can respond, and then nothing is being resolved from that. So it's just, to me, this conversation was very exhausting, and it's a constant reminder of me of why I can be loud and boisterous or whatever, but I choose to be mellow a lot of the time because I don't have it in me to argue a point. I would just rather either leave it where it is if I'm not getting the communication that I need, or figure it out on my own another way. And I park.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Queen. Thank you for that. Dupreme, final thoughts, King.
Um, thank you. You've done an excellent job, and I think that people just need to be accountable, right? I think accountability needs to be part of our regimen for self-management, right? Just always take time and ask yourself, and assess yourself and be honest with yourself and take accountability for the things that you do. And once you do that, then you can begin behaving differently once you take the accountability for it. So that's what I would say. I land.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Dupreme. Miss Penny is on the line, so I'm gonna throw it to Sean. Tap in with me, Sean. How you feel? Final thoughts, King. I'll give mine's last after Miss V. Tap in with me, Sean.
All right. First and foremost, thank you for having us on the platform. As the young lady said prior to, it does become an exhausting conversation for me, simply because, as she said, there's a lot of people who just want their perspectives and feelings to be understood. And as I said earlier, facts over feelings. It's not that I don't want people to feel. It's just I want you to examine why you're feeling it.
Sure.
What is the root of the feeling? And how we get to a resolution to anything is by learning the root of it. And unfortunately, we always cut off the branches of the tree, and it just grows back instead of getting to the root of the issue. And the root of the issue is lack of trust in our community, in our relationships, and a lot of other things. And to your point of the subject, are women being held accountable for men's bad mistakes? I'll just use the example of something that a man, we use a strip club. If we as men can't tell our other men that being in a strip club as opposed to being at home with your family is not a bad choice, regardless how much you like it, we ain't ever going to get to a resolution to a lot of our disconnect or our problems. Because that is a good example of the root of part of our problems is we value monetary, we value selfish needs more than we value morality and selflessness and togetherness. So as long as we value those things, we ain't ever going to get to a root, or we ain't ever going to have a resolution. And I land.
We'll never have a resolution. I'm gonna say something to you in a second too, Sean. Tap in with me, Miss V. Final thoughts, Queen. Grand
Thank you.
Grand closing.
I appreciate this platform. I would like to speak to the men and the women that are in relationships, and even if you're not in relationships, first invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Know who you are. Address your past traumas before moving on into any type of relationship. Know your worth. And also, if you're in a relationship, create safe places to where your spouse can feel free to express himself without being judged, without feeling like that he can't you, without expressing how they truly feel. A no judgment zone. Keep the communication open. And when you get on these platforms out here in these YouTube streets, understand and know who you're listening to. Hurt people. And sometimes people hurt other people without even realizing that they're hurting them. And I'm out. Thank you.
Shit, she Obama dropped that mic, right? Hurt people. I love it. There's a few things I want to say, right? And first and foremost, I appreciate everybody being here because the podcast and the platform it thrives with you guys and your presence, right? I want to say a few things. The first thing I want to say is, it wasn't always an easy way of coming to this point, but even with my significant other, right? Like we like to deal with things one at a time, right? For the reason of we don't want nobody's feelings to go unheard. We want everything to be heard, right? So if she brings me something, I have to listen to it and stand in front of it and realize that, I might be doing something that it's not about me. It's about us, right? You could be right or you could be in a relationship. I choose to be in a relationship. A lot of people choose to be right. I don't want to be right. I want to be with my love. You understand what I'm saying? I believe that when you reach that level of understanding and communication, it behooves us to want to put our significant other before us. Anybody that's putting themselves before their significant other, I can't speak for that. I can only speak for me, right? We have to put our significant others before ourselves, and we got to put the relationship before the world, right? Because there's going to be enough that's going to add pressure to the relationship. What I want to say is this, right? Black women are not stupid. Women are not stupid, but I'm heavily doubling down on black women aren't stupid. Black women aren't children. Black women, okay, let's just be clear here, is way smarter than animals. I think words have power. And we got to be careful with the narratives that we push out there because there's an agenda that we follow that we may not be conscious of, and we continue to push a narrative and rhetoric that it's almost like batteries included, right? The Willie Lynch thing. I could do this to you now, and then 50, 100 years later, you'll be doing it to yourself, and you don't even know how that happened, right? Because you're brainwashed, right? I had a friend of mine that used to say things like white women, right? Shout out to white women. It is what it is, right? He liked white women. And he used to say things about black women, not even being aware of it, right? And I used to, bro, you can't say that, bro. Why? But I feel like, but you can't say that, right? Because the reason why you can't say it is not you can't use your mouth to say it, sure. But when you say that words have power and there's other people that's listening that you might not be aware of, it might be a little girl in the corner. She might be within earshot, and we got to be responsible as black men. We got to be more responsible as black men because they, respectfully, ladies, I'm a traditional man. So my views and opinions come from that of being traditional. Women follow us. We set the tone. You guys are following us. And if you guys don't have a capable, there's a difference between competent and qualified. If you guys don't have a competent leader, then you guys aren't going to follow. It's a difference between being book smart and actually being in the field and knowing how to build some shit. Much different. My brother, he's an architect, right? He be in the books and shit, right? Me, I need to feel, touch. He's qualified, I'm competent. There's a difference. Both are important, but there's a difference. So what am I saying? I'm saying that we got to hold ourselves accountable for our wrongdoings and make those adjustments in real time. Because if we're going to be and hold these platforms and be in front of these people and have these conversations, we got to be mindful of the people listening in the background. Words have power. They even say words are letters which spell words, and spell the word S-P-E-L-L is just that, a spell. So we got to be mindful of the things that we say, because if we don't, we're casting out these spells that can brainwash or tell people something that's improper. We got to be mindful of that. We got to keep, Sean, I said this to you. We had a discourse earlier, and I'm going to say this to you. I appreciate the resistance, because without that resistance on either one of our sides, there can't be any growth for people to understand why we're saying what we're saying. I'm happy for the resistance. We need the resistance, because without that resistance, people from a distance can't tell who, they won't know why. I remember being a kid and being told and saying these little sayings like, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. And I didn't understand what that meant. I was just saying it because adults were saying it around me and I didn't know what it meant. If there's anything that you said, my brother, that went over my head, because I go back and I listen to these podcasts and I walk things back. So just for in future tense, if you said something that went over my head, I apologize if I missed something that you said. I'm doing it now for future tense just in case I fucked up and dropped the ball, because you definitely was saying some things and others agreed with, others gave you pushback on. But the bottom line is we need to have these conversations as a whole and not be so stuck in our ways and feeling like there's only one truth. Because to much of your point, Sean, there's not only one truth. There's men, there's women, there's kids, right? And each one of those three, man, woman, child, have different perspectives. I'm so far removed from being a child that when children speak, I got to try to put myself in that mindset. I yield you guys with the same love, respect, and honesty that we came in here with. Broadway,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you just said something that triggered the thought. And that was, in my household, raising my granddaughter, I used to say, listen to the 5-year-old because she has the most sense in the house. And the reason why I said we need to listen to the 5-year-old is because the only sense she had was common sense. And we get so far removed from common sense as we learn stuff and as we start getting intelligent, and that we forget the basic common principles that life offers. And a 5-year-old child reminded me of that several times when I'm trying to figure out, oh, what should I do this? And they just simply said, oh, well, why don't you do da-da-da-da?
So simple.
And I was like, wow.
Right.
And so these conversations, what I really get out of them and what it ends on is we're here to broaden our perspective. And that comes from anywhere. Anywhere. We need to broaden our perspective. And if we're stuck in our ways, we're in the way of ourselves.
Absolutely. Agreed.
With that being said, I'll let his words be the final ones that you guys hear. I appreciate everybody tapping in live on Broadway podcast. Y'all know my vibe is cheaper to be yourself. Be giant. Pool.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Do you have relationship questions you need answered? With spicy topics? DM us at Live on Broadway Podcast. Have music, products, or an ad you want us to run? Email us at Live on Broadway Podcast. Be sure to tap in. Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live on IM_Broadway's Instagram. Clear.